Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the three hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from three very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production podcast network. We hope to see you online.
Everybody, welcome to the Kulturecast. I'm your host, Chris Stachiw.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
I'm joined by fucking xenomorph lover himself, xenomorph lover 32 over on IMDb's message boards, keeping him alive. My co-host, Mr. Eric Kniss. How you doing, big dog?
It's actually xenomorph lover 69.
Oh, moviepoopshoot.com.
It's actually XX Xenomorph Lover 69 XX.
What the fuck is the internet? The internet is a place where angry nerds go to bitch about movies.
What the fuck is the internet?
Oh my god, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. That was like the peak Kevin Smith. Peak.
Let's have a moment of silence for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Let's have a moment of silence for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back edition of Monopoly. And yes, that's a thing.
Oh my god, I need to find it and buy
it. No, you don't. It's like $45 copy of Monopoly that you can buy for like $10 everywhere else. It's funny because it's got a pot leaf.
Dude.
It probably does. I don't know.
I've never played Monopoly and lost.
Ugh, that's not true. You probably never played it. You've probably also never played a game of Monopoly all the way through.
That's like I'm also the master at war.
Wow, astounding. Dude, Monopoly is a sick game if you play by the actual the quick rules in the instruction manual is pretty sick. Where the first time someone goes bankrupt, the game is over.
See, that's the best.
The game's like 30 minutes.
Yeah, just don't go bankrupt.
That's that, yeah. Speaking of going bankrupt, we're going to talk about some gloriously imaginatively bankrupt films. We're going to be talking about Prometheus from 2012 and the sequel that doesn't even share a similar name, Alien Covenant, that came out, last week, 2017.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, my God. So let's talk about Prometheus first. We're not going to talk about Alien Covenant first, sorry. We have yet to talk about Prometheus, really, on a podcast. We kind of touched on it on our cinematic chit-chat a couple months back, but I really feel like with Alien Covenant coming out, we need to talk about Prometheus kind of in depth to kind of get ourselves kind of in the right mindset to talk about Alien Covenant. Prometheus came out in 2012. It was Ridley Scott's return to the franchise that he quote unquote made. I don't like that phrase when I hear it every time. He didn't really, he did, but he didn't. I would go as far to say James Cameron did more for Alien than Ridley Scott did. He made a more approachable film for a larger audience.
Sure.
Yeah. And plus, let's be honest, Dan O'Bannon and Ron Shusett are the reason Alien exists, because Dan O'Bannon is a fucking legend when it comes to sci-fi writing. Return of the Living Dead, anyone? That movie's amazing. But Ridley Scott came back. He was joined by John Spates and Damon Lindelof, who wrote the script for the film. The IMDb synopsis for the film is, following clues to the origin of mankind, a team finds a structure on a distant moon, but they soon realize they are not alone.
A king has his reign. And then he dies. It's inevitable.
Prometheus has landed. These are ancient civilizations that were separated by centuries, and yet this same pictogram was discovered in every one of them.
They're smiling.
I think they want us to come and find them.
We're all here because of a map you two kids found in a cave.
Not a map. An invitation.
From whom?
Please tell me you can read that.
Prometheus, are you seeing this?
Whatever that probe is picking up, it's reading life form.
What do you mean a life form?
Oh, the head. It's changing.
Changing into what?
It's moving? These things moving?
What is that?
There's a ship.
They're leaving.
To go where?
Earth.
We were so wrong. Take us home! If you don't stop it, there won't be any home to go back to.
Where's that door open? Got it up! Got it up!
Big things have small beginnings.
That is a pretty bad synopsis for the film.
Yeah, that doesn't tell you anything about what the movie is actually
Well, and let's
about.
be honest here, the film itself doesn't tell you a whole lot of anything about much of anything either. So, Eric, you saw the film when it came out. You rewatched it before you saw Covenant, obviously.
Yeah, I watched it like last week.
What were your thoughts on it when you saw it the first time versus rewatching it now?
When I saw it the first time, I thought it was great. It was one of those things like where everybody's like, "Oh, it's set in the alien universe," like blah blah blah.
Wait. It was not. Originally, Ridley Scott said it's not an Alien prequel, and then he said, "Well, no, the last quarter of the film is an Alien prequel." Let's get that straight. When the film came out, they literally said it's not an Alien prequel. It shares similar DNA with Alien.
Yeah.
So technically wasn't an Alien I don't even feel like this film was an Alien prequel when they sat down to write it. Do you?
I don't know. Maybe not. It's hard to tell. I don't know. I mean, I have always sort of known this movie as like it's an Alien prequel, or at least when it came out, it was always like this is set in the Alien universe, even if it's not like a direct prequel. Which like we now know that it is kind of, but it also isn't,
because they essentially retconned everything in Covenant.
Well, I mean, yeah, we'll get to that.
But let's be clear. Alien Covenant is a prequel to Alien. It has Alien in the title. Prometheus is a little shakier ground. It's not technically billed as an Alien prequel.
Yeah, but it totally is.
Right.
Or it's same universe.
It's got stuff that's tangentially involved with the Alien universe. Namely the engineers, otherwise known as the space jockeys, up until they were called the engineers in this film.
Which, let's be real, engineers is a better name than space jockey, even though space jockey is more fun to say.
I mean, space jockey is a better name because it doesn't sound so fucking generic.
I mean, I don't know.
Space jockeys, like, on top of everything else, the redesign for the space jockey where it's just a dude in a suit, they were so much cooler when they were like an elephant monster. Like, because that's what they originally looked like, was like it had like a snout and shit. Now it's just like, man, it's just a space suit.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but now we know that it was just a suit the whole time. So
right. Well, they technically retconned stuff from the comics, because in the comics they interact with the space jockeys at one point, and it's totally just like an elephant monster.
Oh,
They retconned it. Like, that's the thing. Prometheus essentially went back and retconned a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously. I mean, there was Alien came out in 1979?
Yep, 79.
And then this film comes out in 2012, so do the math. There's that amount of time that no one has really done anything with the quote-unquote origin of the alien. So,
yeah,
at least in film. So you've got this whole origin story that is essentially being told in other source material, be it the tons of comic books, the Dark Horse comic books, that are hands down. And the best stuff that has to do with Alien is either in the books or the comics. Like, really. The movies are good, but the comic books are fucking amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never read the comic books.
You should check some of them out. They're really good. There are a couple collected volumes of stuff floating around that they've done recently, obviously, with the release of Covenant. But, and there's actually a comic book sequel to Prometheus, where another team goes to investigate the Prometheus missing, and they go to the planet, and they actually interact with the Deacon from the end of the film.
Oh.
So, rewatching it now, do you still like it?
I still like it. Yeah, I still like it. I really, really like the fact.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Fact that it's not like a direct Alien sequel. It's not like, or prequel rather. It's not like Rogue One, where like Rogue One.
I would say it's more like Rogue One and less like the Star Wars prequel film. Stuff's going on that we know about, but it's not like, we're not like running around with like Ripley when she was an adult, or when she was like a teenager, I guess.
Yeah, what I mean about it not being like a straight up prequel and being more like Rogue One is it doesn't really end 5 minutes before Alien starts.
Right. We haven't gotten to that film yet.
Yeah. And I don't know. We're going to talk about this a bunch, but I am over these prequel things. I honestly don't need to know where shit comes from.
I mean, it absolutely takes the piss out of these. Like, what made the alien scary was the fact that you didn't know where it fucking came from or what it was. And now it's a black goo monster that's like a weapon.
Yeah.
It's like a weapon, but it's not a weapon. It's a evolutionary accelerant, but it can be used as a weapon if it's used in enough quantity. Like, you end up muddy everything by trying to explain it in a way that they did, which is like, we're going to explain it, but we'll leave a lot up to interpretation so you can interpret it the way you want. Like, if you're going to do it, just tell us what the fuck it is. And that should, like, but make it scary.
Yeah.
It's not scary that you can't decide how the fuck this thing became what it is.
Yeah. The one thing that, like, I like rewatching Prometheus, I still like it. I still like the fact that it's not like a direct prequel. And it doesn't have like the actual xenomorph in it. You know, it has that sort of like xenomorph thing, like at the very end, which when I saw it the first time, I was like, that's fucking awesome. Like, you get to see the gigantic face hugger that basically just like fucks up that engineer, and then the fucking, alien, bursts out of his chest later on.
And can we be honest though, hold on, sorry. Can we be honest, if that had been like, okay, so say it's like human evolution, right? And that is just what the alien is, and then over years it evolves into the xenomorph.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought it was going to be.
And obviously, when we get to talking about Covenant, that's not what they end up doing, because again, it's kind of hard to talk about Prometheus now, because a lot of the good stuff from Prometheus, they kind of take it and throw it in the wastebasket in Covenant, because it wasn't what the fans, and I'm putting fans in quotations, and by fans I'm actually talking about the studio. It's not what the studio wanted.
It's what a vocal minority of people
who think about, it's people who don't really give a shit about Alien.
It's the people who are like, oh, it didn't have the alien in it? What? This is bullshit. And I'm like, it doesn't even have alien in the title. Like, you're dealing in the same universe. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean that your favorite part about the Alien movies is going to exist in here. And Prometheus is great because it really puts the focus
on the engineers.
I mean, on the engineers and that whole aspect of it. Like, who are these guys? Why did they create this black goop? Why did they create us? And then you find out that they were on their way to basically annihilate Earth with this black goop. And then the whole thing goes like, well, why the fuck were they going to do that?
Right.
Like, these are our creators. Why were they going to come back and destroy us? And what stopped them from doing that?
And again, most of the good stuff, I would actually say everything that's good about Prometheus is completely ignored in Covenant. Any of those interesting questions from Prometheus are essentially thrown out the window for, let's just have a fucking xenomorph running around and doing xenomorph things. Because unfortunately, and I know this might be hard for some people to understand, just because we've seen it a million times doesn't mean we need to see it again. Like, just because we've seen the xenomorph doesn't mean this movie's going to be good.
Yeah, that's not why this movie is. Yeah. That's not why Alien Covenant is cool.
No, the xenomorph parts of that is. The xenomorph parts of that film for me are the worst parts of that movie. And it's not even a surprise that the xenomorph is in that movie. That movie would have been way better. Well, when we get to Alien Covenant, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But coming back to Prometheus, the best part about this movie, like you said, is that it subverts your expectation of what you're expecting from an alien film, a film set in the alien universe. I mean, it'd be like watching a Batman movie and Batman not being in it at all.
Yeah, and it really, like, I don't know, the whole thing about Prometheus, which is the problem with a lot of films, Alien Covenant included, is that the most of like the cast that you're introduced to is pretty throwaway.
All of them is throwaway. Almost all of them, essentially, except for two or three people.
Yeah, almost all of them. I mean, the movie basically boils down to Shaw, which is Naomi Rapace. I mean, I know. Yeah, Naomi Rapace, who's great in this movie. She's awesome.
She's the emotional core of this film. She's the best part of this movie.
She's the human. She's like the human aspect of the story. And then you have David, which is like, the cold, calculating cyborg robot.
He's an uncertain antagonist throughout the film because you're not sure. Like, there is such a level of doubt to his character that they do a really good job of making you unsure what his real intentions are, because at one point he's saving, he's not saving Shaw, but kind of, and like helping the crew, and then at another point he's literally poisoning someone's drink. Who, again, you could make the case that he's doing it because the guy said go ahead and do it. He just didn't realize what he was saying. But he's setting in motion the downfall of this film.
Yeah, he's the reason that everything goes to shit, and he does it on purpose.
Right.
But they never explain why he does it on purpose.
Well, not in this film. But then when we get to Covenant, the reason you can tie it back to Prometheus, but when everything comes out in Covenant, it feels so cheap in this film, because in this film it's much more nuanced, and there's like a level of ambiguity that I think works really well. And I think it is. I think that as much as I don't agree with Spates and Lindelof, because I think Damon Lindelof gets off on being, I'm super fucking obtuse with the way I write things, and I worked on Lost, so the way I wrote Lost works for everything else. That's not the way it works necessarily. He also wrote Star Trek Into Darkness, and that was absolutely the worst Star Trek film of the 3 Star Trek films that came out. But the way that Damon Lindelof writes things is asking a bunch of questions, answering almost none of them, and then expecting that someone else is going to come along and answer those questions, and guess what? They didn't. So it's just kind of a disappointment, really, because Damon Lindelof likes to throw these little seeds of cool things in there, but then it never really goes anywhere, and you're kind of just left holding the bag like, okay, well, I guess certain things in this film that we're never going to get answers for and probably have essentially been retconned, like why is there a xenomorph in a fresco in the chamber with the giant head?
And you only see that for half a second.
But it's still there.
Yeah.
Not explained. They're not, and again, they kind of retconned it in Covenant.
Yeah.
So, the way that they did the David character in Prometheus is great.
Yeah.
It's one of the 3 things that they did well in this film is the David character.
Yeah, David is amazing. Noomi Rapace's character is also great. I don't know.
Idris Elba's good. There's a lot of people in this film that aren't given a whole lot to do.
Yeah, Idris Elba is awesome, but yeah, he's in the movie for all of, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So...
Charlize Theron, her character is essentially only remembered because she didn't know how to run left or right.
Yeah, which is pretty funny, actually.
Yeah. Looking back on it now, that's one of the big things that everyone always jokes about is she could have survived the giant spaceship rolling on top of her if she had rolled left or right. So
yeah, it's true.
Which goes to show how poorly characterized her character was. Her character is... I guess they were trying to do something similar to Paul Reiser's character in Aliens, where it's like a corporate stooge.
Yeah.
But his character's way better.
Yeah, I don't know. She's like captain of the ship or whatever. And then they have the whole sequence where they have the super, rich guy who everybody thought was dead, who is on the ship.
Wayland?
He was just in cryo sleep. Yeah. And she's his daughter, and there's some weird relationship there where he's not gonna give her the company or whatever, and she's all fucking pissed about it, and they don't explain any of that shit. They just throw a bunch of these things at you and just kind of go all right, well, there's all of this superfluous information that we're not gonna spend the time to explain to you, and trust me, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. And the thing is okay, if you're going to introduce this stuff, then spend more time making it important, or just don't introduce it at all. It doesn't affect the story. The main story that we are watching is unaffected by any of that. And so it just doesn't need to be in the movie,
Well, and again, that goes back to Lindelof and Spates. They do a lot of stuff in this movie that is completely unnecessary. Her character does nothing, to the point where some people were actually convinced that she was a robot. Which, kind of makes sense because her acting in this film is not great. It's very robotic. It's very cold and calculating when somehow the robot is more human than she is.
I think that's that's probably the argument that they were trying to make, is that, even though David's a robot, he sometimes has more humanity than some of the humans on the ship do.
I think you're giving him too much credit. I legit think you're giving him too much credit. That is what it is, but I'm not sure that Lindelof and Spates were sitting there thinking how can we contrast the humanity of David with the inhumanity of another character? Let's just poorly write a female character for Charlize Theron to be in the film.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they did it because Charlize Theron has a really good pouty, angry face.
I don't know. She can do that cold, calculating bitch thing pretty good.
That's my point.
She does that in a bunch of movies.
That's what I'm saying. She's good at that. That's something that we know she's good at.
She seems like she might have a resting bitch face, or she just might be super cool and just really good at acting like a total bitch. I don't know.
But outside of her and Shaw and David, characters are completely expendable in a B movie 80s horror kind of way.
Yeah, even she's expendable.
Yeah. In Aliens, you're attached to characters that you want to make it through the film, like Vasquez or Hicks or Hudson. Like, these are characters that are traditionally expendable characters. Like, Bill Paxton in Aliens is one of the best parts of that film.
Yep.
And he is a character that he dies.
Yeah, game over, man.
But, I mean, there you go, game over, man. Like, immediately when you say that, people know what you're talking about. And, you know, it's a good, well-written character, but ultimately it could have been a throwaway character. And James Cameron and the script writers for that film took it upon themselves to make sure that the characters are well realized in the universe that they live in. And they're believably a crew that works together. In this film, like, yes, they're scientists and, like, disparate parts thrown together. Like, they're scientists and they're Yutani and they're Weyland Yutani people. But, like, I never even got the sense, and I'm being serious here when I say this, Logan Marshall Green as Noomi Rapace's lover, boyfriend, they have no chemistry.
Yeah, zero. The whole movie, I'm going like, why the fuck is she even, like, dating this fucking douchebag? He's such a prick.
He is an asshat. Like, he's not a believable scientist at all. Like,
and
at
that's
all.
like, and you know, that's like the whole thing too. You know, like, they got to make this guy a douchebag so that you, like, feel like David has a reason to put the black goop in his drink.
Yeah, he's a dick to David for no reason.
And so David's like, all right, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, like, in that scene, not only do you feel like Holloway is asking for it, but also, like, David is, like, getting back at him for being a dick.
Yeah, maybe he is.
Yeah, right. Like, that's like, he literally says, I'll do anything possible to meet my maker, but also, like, he's a dick to David, so maybe David would have done it anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, giving them too much credit, I think. I've seen enough of Lindelof's stuff to know that, you know, yeah, he's doing The Leftovers now, but that was an adaptation of someone else's work. This is not an original work of his own. So
yeah.
The other thing about Prometheus that really kind of irks me is that it has such a damn good setup for another film.
Yeah. It does.
Like, it really, it leaves enough questions and a kind of a heightened sense of excitement when you see the Juggernaut ship taking off at the end of the film and you hear, again, another voiceover of another female character, the last one to survive, talking and making another, you know, I guess, a voice recording talking about how she's going to see where the engineers come from and wants to find out why they destroyed humanity. Yep. And you're just like, man, I want to see this movie. When I left the theater originally when I saw Prometheus, I was like, I want to see this next movie because Noomi Rapace is awesome. If you haven't seen the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo films from Sweden, she is Lisbeth.
She kicks ass.
Yeah, she's way better than the American one. Like, the American one is good for different reasons, but
it's good for different reasons, but she is the shit in the original Swedish ones.
Yeah. There's a reason she's cast in American films, and that reason is those Girl with the Dragon Tattoo films from Sweden.
Yeah, totally.
But you're excited because David seems to be on board with helping because he helps her at the end of the film, and then Shaw is a likable character. Maybe because every other character in the film is an asshole. Maybe because it's the only character that they actually, like, gave a shit about writing with any sort of humanity in them.
Yeah, and they, like, wrote it. I don't know. And I still don't even... There are parts about her character that irk me. You know, they give her, like, the really generic background, and they have the whole sequence where, you know, she's dreaming and David's watching her dream. And it's, like, her talking to her dad, who you know is dead.
Played by none other than Owlman / Patrick Wilson. In a strange cameo for no reason.
Yeah, and he has a weird British accent, which is, like, really weird. That guy is in so many movies, like, for seemingly no reason. He must be the shit at auditioning. Like, he must be so good.
Or someone just wants him in their film because he's been in enough marketable stuff. I mean, he's great. Right. Him and, is it Vera Farmiga? Mm-hmm. Are amazing in The Conjuring. Those movies I only gave a shit about those movies because of how good Patrick Wilson is in those films.
Yeah, and the second Conjuring is way terrible.
But again, it's still mildly watchable because they're great.
Yeah, they are awesome in it. Everything else about those movies is pretty bad.
But he's like in this. He is in this film the equivalent
for 30 seconds.
Yeah, the equivalent of James Franco in Covenant.
Yeah.
And when we get to Covenant, we can talk about that.
Yeah, it's just interesting that they cast these people in like weird throwaway roles. Like, if it's a throwaway role, don't cast somebody that I know in it. Cast some fucking random dude that like nobody cares about. Or if it's like, if you want like a character actor to do it, cast a character actor. Somebody who's people are going to be like, oh, it's that fucking guy.
I mean, you could say the same thing about. You could say the same thing about Idris Elba.
Yeah. I 100% can, because Idris Elba is an amazing actor, and he's not given anything to do in this movie.
Nope.
His character, though, is almost more believable than some of the other characters who have a lot more screen time.
The three piloting crew of the film, I would say those three characters together, Yannick and then Benedict Wong's character and Emmett Elliott's character, those three characters, outside of Shaw, are the most believable characters in the film.
And, like, the one guy has seriously, like, one line.
And on top of that, hold on. Rafe Spall is in this film, given almost nothing to do, and, like, again, kind of outshines everybody else. And all he does is essentially do something astoundingly stupid.
Who is he?
He's the one who, like, grabs the hammerpede and, like, lets it kill him. But, I mean, he's been in Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In Hot Fuzz, he is one of the funniest parts of Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, he's one of the Andys.
Yeah. I mean, a fantastic British character actor. Awesome.
Do you know why we call them Andy? You know why we call it the Andys? Because they're both called Andrew.
You got a mustache.
I love that movie.
I know. But it's just like, why would you cast these big actors when like the other actors are way more committed, it seems?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they had all these grand ideas for like all these characters, and they probably had a bunch of backstories like, you know, set up for everybody, and, you know, all this great stuff going on. And then like when it came time to actually make the movie, they're like, we can't fucking fit this in a 2-hour movie. There's no fucking way.
I'll say this, though. The third act of this film actually works for me.
Of Prometheus.
Yes, of Prometheus.
Yeah, this movie doesn't feel rushed or thrown together at all, which is great. The same cannot be said, however, for Covenant. I mean, at least as far as like the third act is
right. Third act comparisons. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of editing going on in the third act of that movie, where it seemed like they edited out a lot less in this movie.
I'll say this much before we move on to Covenant. So with Prometheus, we kind of have these tropes that have been here since Alien. Seemingly, I mean, we didn't know about this in Alien that Sigourney Weaver was going to be the main character. I mean, it's almost like a bait and switch. You think that Tom Skerritt as Dallas is going to be the main character.
Yeah, it's kind of great the way that they set that up in Alien, but like in Covenant, it's insanely obvious who the main character is. You know,
well, I mean, they even show it in the fucking trailer. Yeah. When we get to Covenant, we'll talk about that. But in Prometheus, you have the female protagonist, you have a robot, and this is essentially like if you're going to see an Alien movie, an Alien film, not AVP.
Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show, and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice, and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
We're going to see a female protagonist. In AVP, there was a female protagonist, though, to be fair. You're going to see a female protagonist. You're going to see an android of some form or fashion. They may or may not be a secondary villain. And you're going to see most of the other characters doing something insanely stupid to die.
Yeah.
And you're going to see some form of like, I don't know, like, I guess in these prequel films, it's more of like a landing on a planet doing something stupid. The alien shows up. That's like that's like a prequel trope.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know.
I mean, it's like every Friday the 13th movie is kind of the same.
Yeah.
Jason shows up.
It's just a thrasher.
Yeah.
Or thrasher. It's slasher.
Yeah, it's
a thrasher. Jesus Christ. I've got to listen to some Metallica, bro. Yeah.
But it's like the tropes, they're embracing the tropes. They're not trying to break the mold at all, which it's kind of cheap.
A little bit.
Like, we could write an Alien film. We know what the constraints are. If you're talking about like a mainstream Alien film made by Fox, like the constraints are there. It's got to have a female protagonist, it's got to have an android, and the alien has to be in it.
I can do it right now. All right, it's done. I wrote it.
Yeah. It probably would have been better than Covenant if you had wrote it.
I wrote it on a napkin, and it just says hot chick fights alien, boobies out.
That's the thing about Prometheus that is refreshing, though. It doesn't go for the nudity thing that Covenant does.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you have like characters getting killed in a shower, it kind of your whole film just kind of gets cheapened a little bit.
Well, that's where the difference is between
Prometheus is on Wikipedia. It is defined as a science fiction film. Covenant on Wikipedia is a sci-fi horror film. Prometheus isn't scary.
No, Prometheus isn't scary at all. It's a total sci-fi movie with like
it's hard sci-fi too.
And it has like some horror elements, but like I wouldn't call it a horror movie at all. But Covenant is like a straight up slasher movie. Like it's just like a monster slasher movie. That's it. That's it. And if you watch it and you can enjoy that and sort of like enjoy it outside of the realm of like wanting to take it to this higher level where like the whole story makes sense together and everything works and all the movies like work well together. If you take it out of that, it's fine. It's great, actually. I had a lot of fun watching it. But then when, you go back and you watch Prometheus, I don't know. If they would have in Covenant gone for more of the hard sci-fi, and less like slasher monster horror shit, then I don't know. We might be watching a movie that's more akin to Prometheus than it was.
Than an Alien prequel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't even feel like it's really akin to like Alien.
It's not a prequel to Alien. It's more of a prequel to like Alien Resurrection or Alien 3.
Yeah, it feels more like one of the later Alien movies than it does like the first couple of Alien
Maybe
movies.
Even more so AVP. Because AVP had like a pretty high body count. And like shit was just like happening left and right. Like it was very like mid 2000s sci-fi horror where it's just like, let's really focus on the horror aspect and not the sci-fi aspect. So high body count, lots of gore and blood, but not really focused on storytelling.
Yeah, and like as somebody who's like a huge sci-fi fan, and I really, really, really love sci-fi horror movies, that's like my shit, like probably 5 out of 10 of my favorite movies are sci-fi horror movies. And Alien is definitely one of them. It's watching Prometheus. I like Prometheus better than I like Covenant because Prometheus embraces the hard sci-fi aspect of it and really is like trying to tell you a story and like get you information, even though the information is vague, even though the information is kind of weird.
Which works against the film.
Yeah, they don't really explain anything, kind of. They explain enough so that you're like, okay, I kind of get it. But then it raises a lot more questions than it answers. And I guess we were all hoping for a movie that was going to answer some of those questions that they raised. And then we got Covenant. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about Covenant. I'm going to give one final thought on Prometheus. So for the listening viewer, or for the listener, so far...
For the listening viewer.
At this point in the mythology, just so you can follow along, the black goo, when it infects someone, it amplifies their DNA and makes them more aggressive. We see that with the worm that goes into the black goo. We see that with Fifield. He becomes like a monster.
Yeah. It heightens your evolution to the point of like breaking your cells down and then rebuilding them in a completely different way.
But if you drink too much of it, as shown at the beginning of the film, you completely disintegrate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like,
which is retconned in Covenant, by the way, completely retconned in Covenant.
Yeah.
So, but if you drink it and then you have sex, apparently your sperm is infected with it. And this is where Holloway and Shaw make what is called the trilobite, which is a little, like a squid that's taken out of her in the C-section scene. And then it becomes this giant fucking creature that is essentially a proto-facehugger. It grabs onto the engineer, allowing Shaw to get away. And then it implants what is only assumed to be an egg or similar to a facehugger, an embryo, into the chest of the engineer. And then at the end of the film, the deacon shows up. So the deacon is a human. It is a xenomorph by way of a human facehugger on an engineer. So this is where we're at the end of this film. That's what the deacon is. And the deacon believed at the end of Prometheus, this is the proto-xenomorph. This is like the ancestor of the xenomorph.
Yeah, it looks enough like a xenomorph to where, anybody with half a brain goes, oh shit, that's cool.
And they even threw in the double mouth. I mean, that's...
the double mouth.
The double mouth is how it ends the film.
It's got the banana head, and then it has the double mouth.
Right. So let's talk about Covenant, because I think that we're going to have a lot to pick apart with Covenant.
Oh, God.
Covenant came out May 19th, 2017, directed again by Ridley Scott. This time around, it is written by John Logan and Dante Harper. John Logan has written such films as Hugo. He also worked on a film that I think we're going to be drawing a lot of comparisons between Covenant and this film. He worked on Spectre. He wrote the script for Spectre.
Oh, God, this guy wrote Hugo and Spectre? Why is he writing movies?
Right, yeah. So he wrote along with 3 other people. He worked on Spectre, which probably one of the worst third act James Bond films I've ever seen. And it's up there with bad James Bond movies.
And it's got one of the coolest first 20 minutes in a James Bond movie.
The first 20 minutes of that film, if the rest of the film was like that, the film would have been amazing.
It would have been fantastic. Yeah. Sometimes I just watch the first 20 minutes of that movie. I'm like, this part is sick.
And the intro scene, the title credits are also fantastic. I'm not a huge fan of the Sam Smith song, but the title credits are also fantastic. But again,
they always have cool shit or whatever.
But because I'm a fan of old James Bond and it's got the Spectre octopus theme in there for now, it's a little bit more exciting because you're like, man, they're doing Spectre now. Like, how cool is that? However, let's talk about how this guy wrote Covenant. So Covenant's directed again by Ridley Scott. Only returning cast member from Prometheus is Michael Fassbender.
Yep.
Catherine Waterston, Billy Crudup, Danny McBride joined
Is it
the
Crudup
cast.
or is it Kudrup?
I thought it was Crudup. Dr. Manhattan is in the film. And the IMDb synopsis for the film is: the crew of a colony ship bound for a remote planet discover an uncharted paradise with a threat beyond their imagination and must attempt a harrowing escape.
You've all sacrificed so much to be here and be a part of this thing we're doing. This crew is made up of couples.
It's the first ever large-scale colonization mission.
And everyone back on Earth is
Really grateful for your hard work and your courage.
We're making history here.
This is wheat. What are the odds of finding human vegetation this far from Earth?
Who planted it? You hear that?
What?
Nothing. No birds. No animals. Nothing. What happened here?
What's happening?
I need you back here right now. I need you.
Okay, baby, just calm down, sweetheart. Calm down.
Tell me to stop, Daddy.
You're breaking up.
All of this is to start our new life. Where is it?
Let me out! Hold on!
Holy.
Eric, You and I both kind of have very differing opinions on this film. Maybe yours has changed in the last 72 hours. I doubt it, but we'll see. You watching this film, what did you think the first time? Or what did you think of Alien Covenant?
I thought it was cool. I just kind of took it as face value and as just like a regular movie going experience and like a sci-fi slasher monster movie. It's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. Visually stunning, like the shots in this movie, similar to Prometheus. There's some beautiful shots and there's a lot of really cool practical effects mixed in with CGI, that works in like a really cool way. It's fucking really violent. I mean, my whole thing with this movie is I went and saw it, and I was just at the movie theater. I snuck in a couple of beers and I'm just watching this movie and I'm just like enjoying it. I'm not overthinking it. That came later when I started to think about the ramifications of what I had just seen in the context of the universe of Prometheus and the universe of Alien. And that's where all the trouble kind of starts. So that's what I'll say about this movie is really fun as a take it for what it is type of thing. But the second that you start to like check your homework against what Prometheus sort of laid down, this movie, it's like the people who made this movie just like didn't even watch Prometheus. Like they saw the trailer and they were like, okay, so we need that. And then like we can just do whatever.
Well, yeah. It's almost like in Prometheus, we set down the rule that 1 + 1 = 2. And then in this film, 1 + 1 = 54. It's like, that's not how this works according to the last film that set down all these rules. And so here's the issue. And I didn't like this movie at all. There was a lot of problems I had with this movie, and it stems from what you were talking about. I couldn't take this movie at face value because it is a sequel to Prometheus, and I think maybe I shouldn't have seen it as a sequel to Prometheus. Because just from the title alone, this is Alien Covenant. Prometheus has not been retroactively changed to Alien Prometheus. It never will be. Because they're trying to distance Prometheus from the Alien franchise. Let's be honest.
Which I think is a terrible, terrible mistake on
You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't be like, well, it's an Alien movie, and we're going to explore the Alien universe, but then we're going to completely disassemble everything we did in the previous film because a couple, like you said, vocal minority of people, or maybe it's a vocal majority, I don't know, among people that I know and no one was complaining about that. But there were clearly enough people complaining, maybe at the studios, maybe in the fan base, maybe on the message boards, about there not being enough aliens in Prometheus, that they said, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to put xenomorphs in this movie. And that's going to be like the whole selling point. The whole selling point of this film is the xenomorph. It's in every single piece of advertisement is the xenomorph. Yeah. The xenomorph's here, guys. It's coming. The xenomorph, run, hide, pray. Everything about this film is literally the xenomorph is back. We get to see the xenomorph. Like, that's the selling point of this film. So, obviously, in Prometheus, the xenomorph's not there. It's the deacon. It's the end of the film. It's a little added-on scene that maybe some of the people who made the film didn't even want to put, but the studio was like, we need to shoehorn this in just a bit. Like, just put it in there just so the people who watch this movie who aren't into the mythology are like, oh, okay, the alien's in the film. But the problem is with Covenant is they took everything that was good about Prometheus and either ignored it, did away with it, or just killed it in certain in certain characters' cases.
Didn't give any shits. They just were like, nah.
And in a lot of respects, what they did with some of the characters was taking like 10 steps back from what they did in Prometheus.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way we can talk about this movie without talking about spoilers. So if you want to listen past here, we're going to talk about spoilers. So go watch it. I wouldn't suggest you watch it, but it's making a lot of money at the box office. So go watch it and then come back and listen. So the big kind of spoilery talking points from Covenant are, in regards to Prometheus, are David is now the full-fledged bad guy. Yep. Kind of one-dimensional in respects to Prometheus, and Shaw is dead, and David killed her, and David killed her.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the other kind of third, more tertiary issue in regards to Prometheus is the black goo is completely, ignored, retconned out, essentially. They kind of, briefly mention it. Now it's Fassbender's character as David is creating the alien.
Yeah, which is weird.
Well, it feels a little. I mean, I get what they're doing. Man created, engineers created man creates android creates his own life because he technically has no life because he's an android. So it's like this weird creation back and forth. And I get what they were going for, but it's awfully fucking heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And without a lot of complexity.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's this movie feels a lot more spoon-fed than Prometheus.
Which I'm sure is in response to people complaining about Prometheus being a little obtuse and a little, not straightforward with the answers. I mean, there's a lot of, like we said, there's a lot of stuff they don't answer in Prometheus intentionally.
Yeah. But I would prefer that over the, here's everything, just fucking, take it.
Yeah, are the neomorphs cool? Kind of. But I was much more excited to see practical effects in Prometheus. I'm not sure that there were a whole lot of practical effects in Covenant. I would actually go out on a limb saying there's not a whole lot.
I don't know. There's a decent amount of practical effect.
Well, they
made a big deal about how most of the scenes with the xenomorph is a guy in a suit, augmented by CGI, but it's mostly practical effects and a dude in a suit, which I'm okay, cool, but
still CGI.
I don't know.
Let me put it this way. The xenomorph that I remember from Covenant was not a guy in a suit. Jumping around in the hallways, the fight on the loader at the what I would say would be the climax of the film. That was not a guy in a suit.
Yeah, probably not.
That was a CGI creation. And we've had this conversation before. Fans of 80s horror sci-fi films, fans of 90s sci-fi films, we take ourselves to task, and you and I both love practical effects.
Yeah, love it.
Cool monsters, fucking anything from Stan Winston's studio, anything like that is so awesome. The Thing is amazing because those are real, tangible things. The Terminator, you could touch those T-800s. Those are things. Those are real things that someone made in a studio.
Yeah.
The original Xenomorph. But
this is all back when, CGI was not a thing. So you had to do it in real life. And it made everything feel real because it was real.
In this, it always strikes me as, maybe the Xenomorph maybe they had a guy in a suit in this film, but when he's interacting with the characters, it's clearly CGI.
Yeah. Yeah, for a lot of it is. Or at least it feels like it is.
But, the CGI alien is not the biggest issue with this movie. The biggest issue with this movie is it really did everything in its power to negate the mythology laid down in Prometheus.
Yeah,
which again, mind you, is this is Prometheus, for all intents and purposes, is a base level. It is the bottom level of the pyramid.
It's kind of all right, here's the really base level of the universe.
Because we never got any explanation.
Yeah.
So in the Alien Covenant, they're like, you know what? Fuck that. We scrap the base completely. Maybe we leave a couple blocks left over, but we're completely redoing the foundation here because people complained.
Yeah.
Just because people complain doesn't mean you have to placate everybody.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you want to tell an interesting story, or do you want to tell a story that 95% of the people who watch the film are going to like?
And I mean, I don't know. It's not like Prometheus did bad in the box office, and it's not like Prometheus has a terrible rating on Rotten Tomatoes or something.
No, it doesn't.
And so, who was bitching enough for you to go, okay, Prometheus wasn't good, fuck Prometheus, let's just move on and just do more alien shit? Who was the voice behind that? Or maybe it was just Ridley Scott was you know what?
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
Did all this shit in Prometheus, and I really didn't like it, so let's do something else.
But again, that's giving him the credit that he wrote any part of Prometheus. He didn't write it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think And I mean, just look at the promotional material for Prometheus after it had come out. Like, the engineer is on the box cover of the movie. Like, it's not the Alien. Yeah. You would never know that this is an Alien film.
And that's what I like more about it than, and that's why that movie has more staying power.
It's a smart movie.
Covenant is going to have. Yeah.
It's a smart movie. It actually has something to say.
I could watch Prometheus again. I could do a rewatch of Prometheus and I would be totally cool with it, but a rewatch of Covenant probably isn't happening anytime soon.
One of the bigger takeaways is when you take a film that is supposed to be the bedrock for your mythology, and you want to have it both ways. You want to get rid of parts of it but keep parts of it.
Yeah.
The parts that they kept are essentially them responding to the positive criticism, the positive notes that they're giving Fassbender more in Covenant, because Fassbender was one of the best parts of Prometheus.
Yeah, so now he's playing two people.
Right, so he can be in practically every scene in the film. So he can interact with himself, which is like, it's like a magnifying glass, like we're amplifying it. It's that much better because there's that much more of it.
Fassbender squared.
Yeah, but, I know they've never heard this phrase before, but sometimes too much of a good thing is a bad thing. There's just because you have more of something, it's kind of diminishing returns. And in Covenant, it's definitely diminishing returns because Fassbender is okay. In Covenant, he's not as good as he was in Prometheus. There is a very obvious lack of nuance to his performance, primarily due to the writing, the way his character is written. There's a lot less ambiguity to what he's doing.
Yeah, it's just now he's just a straight up bad guy, which sucks.
Yeah, he's a villain, and he is now the villain for the rest of the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, if they said that fucking Fassbender's the best part of Covenant, there's no way of telling that in the next film, Alien Awakening.
Oh, is that what it's already called?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
The Alien Awakens?
They might change the title, but as of right now, Alien Awakening is what has been kicked around as the name. There's not telling that it's not going to just be a fucking spaceship sets down on Origai 6. Everyone's already dead, and it's a fucking ship full of Michael Fassbenders.
Yeah,
like it's just a ship full of robots. Like, let's stop sending humans and just send robots. Like, there's nothing to say that that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
The other issue with Covenant, and this is something that they did not address between Covenant and Prometheus. None of the characters in Covenant. I care less about the characters in Covenant than I do in Prometheus. There are less characters to care about.
Yeah, you had one or two characters to care about in Prometheus, and you have zero probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, Catherine Waterston is pretty fucking telegraphed from obviously the trailers, but also just the beginning of the film, because you know how alien movies work, that her character is going to be the one that survives.
Yeah, she's the survivor girl.
She looks like Ripley. Her hair is Ripley's hair from Aliens.
Kind of, yeah. And we kind of talked about this on the phone the other night. This might be an unpopular opinion, and it might make me sound sexist and shitty, and I swear to God I'm not sexist, although a sexist person would probably say that, so I don't know. Maybe I just won't say anything.
No. You're right. No, what you're going to say, I echo completely.
Do we need to keep having a female protagonist? Like, it's okay when you have Ripley. I get it. She is the main character in Alien and in Aliens and in Alien 3 and in fucking Alien Resurrection. Every Alien movie, she is the main character, and thank God, because she's fucking awesome. Yeah. She makes those movies. If you don't have her, you don't have a franchise.
Alien Resurrection is pretty bad.
And it's still awesome because she's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sigourney Weaver and Ron Perlman together.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, do I need to sell you more?
I'd fucking watch that movie.
Yeah. It's not a bad movie because Sigourney Weaver is Ripley. Like, when you think of female heroine from a film, you think of, your mind automatically goes to, I guarantee you say female heroine, people think of this one image of Sigourney Weaver holding Newt with the plasma rifle and flamethrower over her shoulder, standing in a field of alien eggs. That is what I think of when I think of female protagonist.
I think of Ripley in like the fucking weird, like mechanical suit, fucking yelling at the alien queen.
Yeah, from the end of Aliens. Get away from her, you bitch.
get away from her, you bitch. I'm just like, oh, fuck.
Which they shamelessly tried to rip off in Covenant.
I know. It gives me chills thinking about Sigourney Weaver saying that line at the end of Aliens. And it's so shitty. The amount of like shitty throwbacks they did in Covenant.
With like the crane arm on the cargo loader. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's even yellow and black. Like, fuck you. Like, fuck you for real. So cheap.
This movie is like 100% just like whiny bitchy fan service to those people who were like, I didn't like Prometheus because there wasn't an alien. It wasn't a true alien movie. The alien wasn't in it. And I'm just like, to those people, I say, you haven't had like a unique thought or like cognitive argument about anything in your entire life. So, and you're the reason why we have to watch movies that are super dumbed down and just not... I'm not going to say that Covenant is bad because I've seen worse movies.
That doesn't mean something's not bad.
I don't know. That's a bad description. It's not a bad movie. It's just a bad alien movie, you know? And I think it's because...
And the sad part is Prometheus is not a fucking alien movie either.
It's not, but it's much more of an alien movie than this movie is.
Yeah, that's the sad part. Is it's a film not trying to be an alien movie, and it's more of an alien movie.
Didn't even have a xenomorph in it.
It's more of an alien movie than the alien movie that's trying to be a fucking alien movie.
Yeah. And we said this earlier. This movie is more akin to like Alien versus Predator than it is to like Alien or Aliens or even Alien 3 or 4. Like, you know, it has almost nothing in common with any of those movies except for the fact that there's a female protagonist and there's a xenomorph in it that is killing everybody.
And again,
and there's a robot with like some weird shady, you know,
God complex.
Well, in this movie, he's like overtly the villain. But I don't know. I always thought that the robots were much cooler in like Alien when it's not. I don't know. Like the robots are bad.
Ash is the best robot in any of the Alien movies because you don't know he's a fucking robot until the end.
You don't know he's a robot, and he's like kind of a good guy, but like he's also a bad guy. Like it's kind of his fault. Like all of that shit is like kind of his fault.
Well,
but
because
he
was programmed by Weyland-Yutani to do that stuff. They went there with the sole purpose of getting the alien.
Yeah.
Which the best Alien thing that I had anything to do with this year is Alien Out of the Shadows, which was from last year, and it's an audio production from audible.com, and it's also a book that you can listen to that takes place in between Alien and Aliens, and it has to do with Ripley waking up because Ash wakes her up because they interact with another damn xenomorph. And it's this whole story about fleshing out the Ash character and giving him more of a backstory as to what he was up to and why he was being told to get the xenomorph in Alien. Right. And that's interesting.
Yeah. And then, I mean, they have Fassbender's character, which could be something cool like that. It could even be cooler than Ash because it seems like he has some sort of like, I don't know, he's a robot, but he's also, it feels like he's more like autonomous. Like he can, like he's not super constrained by his quote unquote, like programming, I guess you could say. I don't know. His character was so interesting in Prometheus because he's like this bad guy, but like maybe he's not a bad guy. Maybe it's just because he's a robot and he doesn't understand, or maybe he understands more than he lets on, or maybe he's a little bit more humanized than like he wants everybody to believe.
Well, that's the other thing in Covenant. They actually explain why David is the way he is because Walter is a less human robot and David had more human tendencies. Again, further taking the piss out of the David character.
Yeah, so I'm like, cool, you have this great character and now you're just going to explain away why he is the way that he is.
Almost sounding like the exact reason that these films were made. Explaining a cool character and taking the piss right out of him.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, from the standpoint of like universe building and like the...
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Story being cohesive is not great. This movie, basically, if you liked Prometheus and you wanted to see more of that, this movie is not giving you that. What this movie is giving you is just slashery alien fun. Like, that's it. If you just watch this movie and just have fun with the fact that there is the xenomorph that you know and you love, and it's gonna kill a bunch of people that you just don't care about because there's no, like, character building or, like, believable backstory or like anything that like really matters, then you'll be fine. And this movie's fun. And, you know, I liked it. I like Prometheus better.
It just sucks because this movie can't stand on its own because of Prometheus. I think if this movie had come out and there had been no Prometheus, they would have been able to tell the story they wanted to. And it may have been good. In my opinion, it may have actually been good.
Without Prometheus, this movie, like I said, if you take this movie just at face value and you don't think about Prometheus and the ramifications that this movie has on Prometheus, then you're fine. Then this movie's awesome. But the second that you try to add together this movie and Prometheus, it's game over, man.
It really is. It's fucking game over, dude.
It's fucking game over.
When you have a film that retcons its own mythology, that it also sets down in its own film and the film prior, it's so stupid.
Well, you know, we kind of talked about this. Like a bunch of the Alien movies like do that to a certain extent. Alien and Aliens, not so much, but there's stuff that happens in Alien 3 that sort of like fucks with the stuff that happened in Alien, and Alien Resurrection like really fucks up a bunch of stuff, but like just not to the extent, you know, it's not like
the Alien movies, the Alien original quadrilogy, like they kind of retconned the way the aliens worked a little bit between Alien and Aliens. But and in Aliens and Alien 3 because of the dog alien, which we kind of never really seen how that worked anyways, so that was kind of left open to interpretation how Facehugger being on something else would have worked versus a human. So they kind of got away with it. I mean, Alien and Aliens, there's no queen in Aliens, so we don't know where the eggs came from. These two films are actively changing. Covenant is actively changing what Prometheus sets down as how the aliens come into being, which is so stupid if you think about it.
Yeah. No, it sucks.
Like Prometheus is already convoluted, and then Covenant says, it's convoluted, and we're going to make it more convoluted by changing things, ignoring things, and literally just hanging a lantern on David was experimenting. Like it's literally like interstitial. Meanwhile, while David is experimenting, montage. Like that's what it is. I mean, they don't even try to explain it. They're just like, well, he was doing some shit. Here's some weird little, maquette props, and we'll just stick them on a table, and that'll be it.
It's interesting, man. It's interesting that the way that they did this.
And the other thing, and this is the other big point that I think we do need to talk about. Shaw just being dead.
Yeah, you had this great character, and then she's just dead. And
you try to replace her with a worse character, Daniels, played by Catherine Waterston, who was absolutely a blank slate. You know, you're meant to feel sorry for her because James Franco's character dies, and therefore there's a connection with her, but not really.
Yeah, because they were together
in promotional material that you would have had to watch before seeing the film. Which, by the way, nothing irks me more than that, where you're telling parts of the story of a film outside of the film and expecting the audience to go and watch that to understand what's happening in the film.
I don't know. I mean, I don't hate that.
Why didn't they just put those scenes in the movie?
Because it was already like the first third of the movie was already too long.
And they had to get to that xenomorph. That xenomorph had to get on screen.
Yeah. Well, it really, and I mean, we've talked about this before, it really makes the third act of the film suffer because it feels like they just crammed a shit ton of stuff in, you know. It feels like they had to edit around everything so they could fit in the shit that they wanted to at the end.
Yeah.
you know? They basically crammed in 30 minutes of movie into 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean that the end of the film with the xenomorph proper, when they get onto the Covenant and there's the xenomorph running around, and Daniels in Tennessee, yuck, get it? Because there was a character named Dallas in Alien, yuck, chasing down the xenomorph. It's like 10 minutes. It feels so rushed and forced. It's almost like they're trying to be trying to be a twist. But if you'd watched the promotional materials, if you'd seen the trailer, which you probably undoubtedly had because the trailer for this damn movie was everywhere. There's stuff for this movie everywhere.
Yeah.
You knew that the alien was on the ship.
Yeah.
But it was so quick and forced that it's like, why was this even in this movie?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we know why, because Fox took it upon themselves to say we need to have the alien in the Alien movie. Because otherwise people won't come see it. And it won't be, it won't be an Alien movie.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie definitely feels like it's one of those things where the studio stepped in and said, okay, we're going to make another Alien movie and it has to have XYZ.
Yeah, it has to have it has to have the xenomorph. It has to. Otherwise people won't come see it.
The worst way to make a movie ever is to force people to have, XYZ in the movie, because it takes out all creativity.
You know what it felt like? It felt like in Rogue One when Darth Vader was in the movie. It's like, why?
I mean, I don't know. It's cool that Darth Vader was...
A Star Wars movie can't stand on its own without a lightsaber. Like, that's what that felt like. Like, an Alien movie can't stand on its own without a xenomorph. Great. Or a face hugger. Like, none of those things have to be in a movie.
I like all that shit, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, that's awesome. That's a cool creatures and stuff from Alien, but like, man, that if you think that's what makes an Alien movie, not really. I mean, it's part of it, but it's not the whole part.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. And I love those creatures. And like, basically for my entire life, that stuff has scared the shit out of me. But, I don't know. I've seen it. Do I need to see more of it? Like, I would like to see some new stuff, We know
that Force Awakens essentially retreaded New Hope. We know this. They're trying to rip off a 2.5-hour movie in 15 minutes. And they're completely missing the point of what makes Alien such a well-regarded film, is that it takes an hour and 40 minutes to get going.
Yeah.
It is a slow burn horror film in the way that a Ty West movie is slow burn.
It's really slow. It takes forever to even get to the freaking alien. It takes forever for you to like get anywhere in that movie, and that's why I love it. It's a slow build of dread where the whole time you're going, something's wrong, that's not right, like, don't go in there, why are you doing this, stop, get out, Like, don't go to that planet. Why are you going into that ship? That seems like a really bad idea, and I don't know. It's just like one of those things where this movie didn't have any of that. It's a monster movie, It's a get in, get out, show me the, money shot, and then we're done.
And even the money shot's not that great. The alien looks kind of cheap when you see the CGI alien.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It can jump around faster. It's not hindered by the constraints of it being a guy in a suit. Okay. Got it.
But that's like, everybody's like, oh, I want to have stuff that, is cool and can move around and be like this nimble thing, that's like an actual, if it was an actual creature, how would it move? I'm like, well, we didn't have to think about all this shit, originally, because it was just a guy in a suit and it was great. It was wonderful.
But no, we got to make sure it's real to reality where aliens actually exist.
Yeah.
But mind you, they don't. So
they don't. It's true. I've seen it.
Where is this going, though? Where is this going from here? Well, according to Ridley Scott in an interview that he did earlier this year, he could make 6 more movies.
Yeah, that's too many.
I think we need one more, Alien Awakening, and then we're done. I think that it needs to be cut, finished. It ties into the end of Alien, and we're done. If he wants to make 6 more movies, how about you let someone else make an Alien movie? You can produce it.
Yeah.
And let Neil Blomkamp make that Alien movie that looked so cool.
I would like to see that movie.
That you essentially stopped from happening. Because let's be honest here, Fox is not going to greenlight 2 Alien movies. They're not going to greenlight Alien prequel and Alien sequel. It's either one or the other.
I mean, I don't know. They're going to look at it, like the Star Wars franchise now. They're going to be like, how many of these can we make? How much money can we make? Which, I don't know, man. I like Star Wars, but like, I'd feel weird about getting a Star Wars movie every year for the next 100 years.
I don't think Alien works that well as that kind of idea.
But they're gonna try, dude. Because it makes money.
Yep, I know. Because they get to introduce more convoluted alien versions of the alien. Now there's a neomorph and a protomorph, because the xenomorph in Covenant is not actually the xenomorph. It's called the protomorph because it's not the full alien yet, even though everything about it looks just like the alien, and the way it became the xenomorph / alien is how it is in the original movies. But again, it's not the alien. It's not the xenomorph. So
yeah,
if they're going to make any more alien movies, since they've made these prequels, I think we need to go into sequel territory. Or just not related at all. Just a crew shows up on a planet and the alien shows up and they just have a fucking alien movie without touching the mythos.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Can we just have a...
It's like the Star Wars thing. Like, do we need to see a Han Solo movie? No. Why can't we just see something going on in the Star Wars universe? It's not like there aren't thousands of planets that you could explore, or planets that we've already seen with cool shit that could be happening on them. Come on.
You know, how about other characters that we know about who we don't have any story? Like, let's do a Boba Fett movie, which they already are kind of saying that they are going to do.
Well, they were until Josh Trank self-imploded on the set of Fan 4 Stick and essentially nuked his directing career from here on out because he was vocal about the studio meddling or whatever.
Well, like, come on, guys. Let's do a fucking, I don't know. It would be fucking tight to have... I'm done with prequels. I'm done with sequels. If you want to make a movie that's in the same universe, just do it. It's fine. Like, let's make an alien movie where, I don't know, where the alien makes it to Earth somehow. And we're all like, what?
Why haven't we had an alien movie on Earth yet?
Let's have one on Earth. You can set it in the near future or the far away future or whatever, far enough away to where it's possible, but near enough to where everything is still pretty similar to the way that it is now. And you can have it be like one of these things where it's like a plague that's spreading, you know? It starts with one alien on each continent or something like that, or in a major country or in a highly populated area or a not populated area. And then it just becomes this thing where it's like, it's almost like a zombie plague spreading, but it's fucking aliens. So it's terrifying. Like, there you go. Studios, there's your fucking alien movie right there. Make that movie. I will direct the shit out of it. Let's go.
Well, and let's not forget, deep cut information here. There was a teaser for Alien 3 where it was Alien on Earth. But it never happened, obviously. Alien 3 became Fury 161 or wherever that planet is, that the prison planet. But that was the original idea for Alien 3, was aliens on Earth, to the point where they had a teaser where it's like, on Earth, everyone can hear you scream. Like, something epic as fuck. Like, that's why. Why can't we get that? That'd be epic as fuck. It's all about explaining things to people who want things explained to them. And that's what Covenant is. So what would you give the film out of 5?
I'm going to give Covenant like a 2.5 out of 5. And that's being pretty generous.
What about Prometheus?
Prometheus, I'll give like a solid like 3.5 or 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I would give Covenant a 1 out of 5. I really disliked it. It did a lot. It did a lot to make me upset as a fan of what I would consider to be a mythos that they don't need to really monkey with a lot. Prometheus, I would give like a 3.5. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. 3.5 out of 5. I think it does enough. It convolutes the backstory of the alien, but not in a way that like upsets me as much as Covenant does. And obviously, the reason Covenant upset me and kind of irked me as a fan is because of what it did to the Prometheus mythology.
Yeah, but that's coming from somebody who liked Prometheus and liked the way that they set it up. I think a lot of the people that really like Covenant are the people who didn't like Prometheus.
Right. No, that's fair. You're completely correct. If you like Covenant a lot and gave it a perfect score, or as high a score as you feel willing to give it, it's probably because you didn't like Prometheus a whole lot.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that somebody would like both movies a lot. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I had fun watching this movie, but am I going to watch it again? Not anytime soon. Would I watch Prometheus again? Sure. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, so I'm going to ask you what you think the score is on Rotten Tomatoes for both films. Okay. You can give me one answer for each.
Okay. So for Prometheus, I think I kind of know what it is. I think it's in like the low to mid 70s.
Okay.
And then for Covenant, I'm going to say that it's probably in the same realm. Like, it probably lives in that low to mid 70s range.
So if they were trying to make a film that was going to be well received by critics, more so than Prometheus, they failed because they have the exact same score on Rotten Tomatoes.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
While the average rating for Prometheus is a tad higher, 6.9 out of 10 versus a 6.5 out of 10 for Covenant, they both have the exact same all-critic score. The top critic score for Covenant is 77% versus Prometheus is 69%. So, I mean, it's not like one was 99 and one is 20.
Yeah.
If you're trying to make a film that's more well-received by critics, you kind of did, sort of. But they're both certified fresh, so you're both able to use that tagline in your trailers regardless. So.
Oh my God. Can I just say that I hate it when people are like, it's certified fresh.
That started last year with that Ghostbusters movie. That really started with the 2016 Ghostbusters movie.
God, Ghostbusters.
Where saying that made it like, oh shit, we can use this in the trailer and that should drum up interest because look, it's, it's a good movie according to the critics. That's where that came from. I mean, I don't care one way or another about that Ghostbusters movie, but I mean, it started there. With certified fresh, put it on the cover of the movie. Like that movie sucks. That's not a selling point. Watch the movie for yourself. Sucks. Watch the movie for yourself. Come to your own conclusions.
Yeah. Fuck Rotten Tomatoes, dude.
I mean,
I don't give a shit.
It's an aggregator website. It literally just takes all the reviews, throws them in a pot together, and averages them out. I mean, it's not rocket science. And their top critics, which are people who work for bigger newspapers or have more sway or have more reviews written. It's not the end all be all. It's not the fucking thermometer of the movie industry. Just because a movie has a low score doesn't mean it's not going to make money. Cough, cough, Transformers. I mean, Transformers, those movies make billions. The series alone has made like $7 or $8 billion, and those movies are fucking poorly reviewed on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep, it's true.
There's a correlation sometimes, but people are still going to go see Transformers movies and they're going to make more money than Alien Covenant. Transformers The Last Night is going to be more financially successful than Alien Covenant. I can guarantee it.
Oh, yeah.
So, well,
I'll probably like it more.
It could be stupid fun. I mean, I haven't seen the last Transformers movie, but I'm sure it was trash, but it was probably fucking dumb. It's got Mark Wahlberg in it with robots. At least it's not Shia LaBeouf.
Mark Wahlberg. I miss Shia LaBeouf, dude. I want that guy back in more movies.
But I'm not excited for whatever comes next in the Alien movies, and it sounds like whatever is coming next is going to be coming very quickly in 2019.
Oh, shit.
Because
already?
Ridley Scott has said that he is already working on the sequel to Covenant, and that it'll start filming sometime next year.
Oh, God damn it.
I mean, it's a year. If it films a year from now, it'll be out in 2019 around this same time.
Oh, no.
Yep. So, well, Mr. Kniss, anything you want to plug before I talk about next week's podcast?
You can check out the band, like usual. Go to bandcamp.com/Wovoka and come listen to our amazing sludge extravaganza. And, actually, dude, we are playing a show. It's our first show in about 6 months. And if you're in the Los Angeles area and you want to come and party, we're playing a show on June 6th. Dude, I don't know. June 6th. It's down in downtown at this place called the 5-Star Bar. We're playing with a couple of really cool bands. This band called Graph Orlock. It's like a weird grindcore band. And this other band, who is it? Graves at Sea. They're really cool. They're from Portland. They're kind of a big deal in sludge metal land, which is, where we like to live. So, come to that. Otherwise, you can just follow me on Twitter or Instagram or wherever at Tycho Magnetics. I don't know. I occasionally post things. Most of the time, it's just me musing about the dump that I took in the morning or whatever Twin Peaks episode I just watched that I don't understand. So, yeah.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Kulturestash. And if you like what you're hearing now, Eric and I talk about movies once to twice a week over at cultureshock.com/Kulturecast. Also on iOS, Android, and all podcasting platforms. Yes.
All of them?
Yeah, all of them.
Are we on Zune?
Yeah, probably. Patreon.com/culture_shocked is where you can go to kick a couple dollars our way. Every little bit helps to bring you guys weekly content.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.